Hey guys, today we are in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We're standing outside of the Smokies Cuban Cafe. Now, we're not experts on Cuban food, never even been in a Cuban restaurant before, but we're going in here and get a couple sandwiches for lunch, and especially a Cuban one. I heard this is the place to get a authentic Cuban sandwich, so we're gonna go in here and find out, and you are coming with us. So are you ready, Bobby?
I'm ready.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll.
Now, to find the Smokies Cuban Cafe, look for this gigantic shark on the other side of the parkway. It's directly next to Reagan's House of Pancakes. Right back there it is, guys. And on the other side, gift shop, McDonald's, and right down the street, Porky's Barbecue. It's kind of hidden back in here. Do not miss it when you come to town. Let's head through this crowded parking lot. Place is going to open it in a couple minutes. You can dine in or carry out. And right beside the place, pick you up some brochures. Cuban Food. They are open 11 to 8 every day except Sunday, and they are closed. And this morning, they're not open yet. It's like 10:30. Look at this parking lot, guys. This is for Reagan's House of Pancakes. They filled up the whole parking lot. People are waiting to get in. Unreal. Now, when you come in the door, all the way to the left, they have this extra seating, and you go back into the main dining area. This place reminds me almost like a cabin in the Smokies. Has a cozy feel to it. Besides the fountain drinks you can order, they have this extra beverage section to pick from. We're gonna have to try one of these freshly made pastries for dessert. Let's take a look at the menu, starting off with the sandwiches. They come on Cuban bread. It's supposed to be authentic, but it's not made in-house. I want to get the Cuban sandwich. That's what we came in here for. With some yuca fries. We asked them how to pronounce it. It's yuca instead of yucca. Empanadas. I think we will also get one of those. We'll try the beef and cheese one. Here's a picture of the Cuban. Entree served with rice, beans, and plantains. They have roasted pulled pork, seasoned ground beef, fried shredded beef, and breaded steak. We looked at the desserts earlier in that case. They are $2.25, 3 choices. There's your choices of sides: a stuffed potato, yuca fries, white rice, toast with butter, and a kids menu. And on the drink menu, they have shakes, juices, Cuban sodas. They serve Pepsi and coffee. Address and phone number for you to put in your GPS. Let's take a look at what came out first. The empanadas, we got a beef and cheese one, and the yuca fries. And they gave us some cilantro garlic dip to dip the fries in. Let's try them. What do you think by looking at them? They look just like regular French fries.
They do. They're hot. They brought salt because she said they don't put salt on them, so I'm gonna try them without it. Not a whole lot of difference from a potato, I don't think, taste-wise, except for the texture may be a little tougher. It's a little crispier. I like them. I might try this.
Now that is mayonnaise-based.
I get a little bit of flavor of garlic. It's a mayo base. It's creamy. I think John, these are meatier than a regular potato. I would not put salt on these. You don't need them.
I'm looking forward to trying these because I love French fries. Now they do taste a little different than French fries, not exactly the same. I like the flavor of the yuca that's inside them. Getting ready to say potato flavor. It's not potato flavor, it's yuca flavor. but I want to try this one.
There's more starch in those than potatoes.
Now, this is the way to eat them. Make sure you dip them in this sauce. It reminds me like almost like a garlic ranch flavor to it. I do like these. I mean, there's not much difference. I know they had the French fries on the menu. Try these when you come. Again, they don't put any salt on these unless you ask them to. Let's take a look at this empanada, which is fried dough. The pastry is baked. I'm just gonna cut it. Just gonna see it. There we go. See the beef in there. There's mozzarella cheese in here also blended in. There we go. Now I'm really enjoying the flavor of this beef in there mixed in with that mozzarella cheese and the Cuban spices. Flakiness from this dough. I like these. I might have to stop back in here sometime and try some different ones. I think they have a couple other different flavors. Bobby's gonna try the other half of the empanada since she's never had one before.
It looks light and airy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That is very good. The meat inside is seasoned very well. I'm not sure what all they put in there. It's very good. A little bit of the mozzarella cheese. And just the texture on the outside here is kind of crunchy, and then it's not so crunchy, it's softer.
And she said that mozzarella cheese just blends in with the beef.
Yeah, that's the way it puffed up, airy.
We got the main lunch sandwiches. There's the Cuban. Looks pretty good. And here's Bobby's chicken. We're gonna let her try that one first. We'll go over this one, tell you what's on it. Let's take this apart. First, you have the authentic Cuban bread, tomato, lettuce on there. There's grilled chicken on that. And look at that, it's a pretty good piece. And the bread looks pretty crispy the way they pressed it and toasted it together. And also underneath the lettuce and tomatoes are plenty of grilled onions, and I know Bobby's excited about that.
This sandwich is huge. We could have shared this. End up taking half of it back with me, I'm sure.
And that side angle.
The bread feels a little crunchy here. Go in and try it. That is a great sandwich. When I first bit into it, I figured that it would be real crunchy because it's a little harder here. But it's softer than what a French or Italian bread would be. Look at the grill marks. The chicken is tender. It's seasoned well. I like the grilled onions, lettuce and tomato. This is an excellent sandwich to get.
And you said earlier, we could have split that. That's gonna fill you up. You're not gonna go away hungry after eating that.
Yes, because look at how huge that piece of chicken is. It covers the whole slice of the bread.
Let's take a look at the Cuban sandwich, what they're famous for here. The authentic Cuban bread again. There we go, now we can kind of see it. Has the pork, ham, mustard, and pickles on it, and Swiss cheese. One thing about it, this thing is really pressed together. Let's take one more look at it. You see the Swiss cheese is melted in there. Let's try it. All right, first thing, I was expecting this to be crispier also. It's very soft. There's a little crispiness on the top of that, but inside, no crispiness to it. Get some tangy flavor from the pickles and the mustard, some sweetness from the pork and the cheese, and that ham just brings it all together. Very good. Gonna fill us up, especially with those yuca fries over here. Good meal, guys. Worth coming in to get. And describing the bread, I guess it would be like eating Italian bread, but a lot softer.
A few moments later.
Something else I'm really tasting now is this Swiss cheese. I can get a little bit of it early on, but you can see how it's just melted down in that bread with the mustard and all that. So everything just blends in so well with that. I'm gonna try Bobby's chicken. Bobby, there's so much chicken on there, it's falling off. That's a completely different taste than the Cuban sandwich. The chicken is not dry, it's very juicy. A lot of flavor. You can taste the onions in there too. They're both good. I like the Cuban a little better because it's got that little tanginess to it. But this still is a very good chicken sandwich. So we got dessert for you because we did not finish what we had for lunch, but we figured you guys might want to see what the desserts look like. This is a guava pastry. Bobby and I, either one, have had guava as far as we know. So we don't know what we're in for. Let's try it.
All right, I'm gonna cut it.
Sounds crisp.
It's flaky. It's because it's like in layers. Puff pastry's layered. Very flaky. Let's look and see. We can see the guava in there.
There it is.
I'm glad we decided to save room for dessert. The pastry dough is light and airy. Look at how flaky. Very fresh. This reminds me of strawberries. It's kind of a sweet flavor. See it in there? If you come here, you have to try this.
They have 3 choices for pastries. They have the guava pastry, the guava and cheese pastry, and a cheese pastry by itself.
Go with this one.
All right, I'm gonna try it, and it is so flaky, it's just coming to pieces in here. I can see why Bobby described that as tasting like strawberries, but it has a distinct taste. I mean, it tastes a little like strawberries, but a little different. I read that it's a mix between strawberries and pears. Get a little hint of a pear flavor in there, but the crust that is made with is so flaky and so good. $2.25, well worth it. Here is our receipt at the Cuban Cafe. Bobby's chicken, $13.95. The empanada, $3.50. The dessert was $2.25. The Cuban, $12.95. And the yuca fries, $3.95 for a grand total of $40.17. We just left the Smokies Cuban Cafe here on the Parkway in Pigeon Forge. What did you think about it?
This is a locally owned business. We always try to support the locals. When you go inside, it's like going into a log cabin. And then they have some of the Cuban pictures. It's beautiful inside. There's 9 tables that I counted, and there's some chairs at the bar that you can set. The staff was very friendly. We talked to the young lady, and she gave us some information about the different ingredients, because we've never eaten true Cuban food before. I got the chicken sandwich. I really enjoyed the bread. It was a little crunchy but soft, not like Italian bread. That piece of chicken was huge. It was grilled to perfection with the seasonings. It was very tender. I like the grilled onions they put on it. I enjoyed everything. Make sure you save room for that dessert with the puff pastry. That was very good.
How about those fries? One thing about them, they are heavier.
They are.
They're very good. There's no salt on any of that stuff. That way, if you want to salt it, they'll bring you some salt, but you don't need it.
We didn't need it, yeah.
Dip it in that cilantro garlic mayo-based dip they had. That really brings it out. I did like that. And it's not too strong of a garlic.
Because I put that on my sandwich a little bit.
And we tried the empanada. It has that seasoned beef in there. It was amazing with that fried dough. Everything was very good in there, but I went in there for that Cuban sandwich. And that was so good. Like Bobby touched on, the bread, I think, set that off too. The quality of ingredients they were using on there is top notch. Get that tangy taste with the pickles and the mustard, little sweetness from that pork and then that ham. A very good sandwich. I am glad we went in here. I hate about this place being hidden because it's easily missed here in Pigeon Forge. Hopefully, if you guys watch this, maybe you'll come in here and try some of it. You saw the whole menu. Might be something different on there. Something else about this place, everything is made in-house except the bread, so it's going to be fresh. Our bill was $40, and we got a lot of food. Again, if you're wanting a lunch, great place to come. Order the fries and pick out one sandwich or one entree. I don't know how big the entrees are, but if they're as big as those sandwiches, you can split that meal. Glad we stopped in here today.
So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Yeah, so until we meet again, J&B have left the building.